Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Carmen.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. So we're recording in South Lane. It's a very cute cafe. So there might be some background noise. I will edit. I will do my best. But please, listeners, be nice. Laurie, you are the founder of Mono Skincare, an innovative dermal cosmetics brand that aims to rethink how we take care of our skin.
Mm-hmm.
So when we met, you told me so much about your brand and about skincare. It's like overload with information, but interesting information. And actually, I think there's a world that I don't know about. You use natural ingredients only. It's actually not as we could expect.
Yeah.
It's water-soluble tablets. So you mix with drinkable water, and then you have the end product.
Yes.
And it's patented in 35 countries.
Yes.
What struck me is that your story is a bit of a roller coaster. That's the least we can say, right?
100%, yeah.
Ups and downs, uncertainty. What is it that made you go through all of this?
I would say resilience and purpose. It's very difficult to create something that did not exist before. So as you said, it's a lot of challenges, but I would say challenges are inevitable, and I see them more like pebbles, like small stones rather than roadblocks. And I try to remove one stone at a time and just go through it.
Does your
So
intuition plays a big part in what you do?
yeah, people are looking at me like she's crazy, like, like because they see the roadblocks and I see like a pebble stone, and and they're like, oh, we don't have the same perspective of things. But yeah, along the line, I feel like having a true purpose and knowing what you do things, the fact that I'm really trying to help people, like you said, better understanding skincare, but also less damaging the planet is all worth it.
Okay, but where do you find the strengths? Is it something you always had?
I think you have to be completely honest with you, you have to be a bit clueless
Yeah.
somehow. you know?
I say naive.
Yeah, a bit naive. Yeah, exactly. Not thinking too much, not overthinking things, because yeah, otherwise you turn those pebbles again into road blocking, and you'll be like, okay, I'm stuck. I can't do anything anymore. But the fact that I don't see the whole dimension of things, I think, yeah, naivety, and also again like the gut feeling,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And before being a business owner and founding Mono Skincare, you had a much different life. Like
totally.
before, like
Yeah.
10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
I won't say your age. Um,
Thank you.
you were living in Paris. You had a great job in hospitality. You had a good salary. You had friends, social events to go to. Well, a life in Paris. And you threw all that away. Of course, using this experience, throughout other moments of your life, but you threw that away and you arrived in Hong Kong. And you were so far from your comfort zone. And I kind of relate to that because I also I did the same thing basically. Good situation in Paris, and then one day you're like, okay, I'm going, on the other side of the planet and just start over and be no one there and have to build again. So I understand, but I would like to know what was your, why did you do that? Why did you take the leap? Were you bored or was it something else?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. So I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, also because in Paris I was an employee. So maybe that's one thing. Deep down, I knew I wanted to start my own thing, but traveling so far away and starting from scratch, knowing no one. Yeah, I had one friend actually. I knew one person in Hong Kong already back then, but yeah, let's say pretty much nobody. I mean, sorry, Marianne, but it's just one person. It's not many
Yeah.
people. I don't know. I felt like the taste, the love for adventure with a big A, you know, and just not knowing. I feel like this is so exciting when everything is spontaneous and everything is new, and you just don't know. So you kind of throw yourself at the big. You kind of jump in the emptiness.
Yeah. Were you scared?
Funny enough, again,
No.
I'm super naive, but no, I never been scared.
Maybe I should have.
Yeah, again, you know, like my friends, I mean, bear in mind, I come from Perpignan, which is a very small town in France. So already like me moving to Paris, people were like, wow, you know, she moved, like that's a big move.
Yeah.
But then you're talking Paris to Hong Kong, then they were like, okay, she's an alien, you know, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, back then we were quite young, and I guess that helped also with the naivety. But
Yeah.
when I arrived in Hong Kong, it was not exactly how I expected it. I thought, yeah, with the little money I had spared, I could live a month. Then I realized, oh, I actually maybe I could just live a week. So I need like, you know,
Hong Kong is very expensive.
yeah.
But was there
The risk.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think the love for the adventure and the.
But was there another moment of your life before that where you had this thrill for adventure before
Yeah.
moving to Hong Kong?
Yeah, so before moving to no, not as much. It was like a click. I don't
Okay.
know. I felt maybe actually I was scared to get too comfortable into the life that I had back then. The job, the boyfriend, I don't know, like just easy kind of.
Then
Maybe I felt like, oh, maybe I'm too young. I'm not ready. Maybe it's not the right job. Maybe it's not the right place. Maybe it's not, I don't know. I felt like the planets were not aligned, and there was something else waiting for me elsewhere. So I
Yeah.
was gonna discover.
Because otherwise your life would have been, which is not bad, but I guess many of your friends in France, same as me, their life is, you know, you have your boyfriend, you're enjoying, you're young, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, the past is, then you get married, then you have kids, and then you still have this job, and maybe eventually you have this middle life crisis later, and you're like,
Yeah,
I need to do something
Yeah.
else.
totally. Yeah.
So after you arrived in Hong Kong, you very actively looked for a job. You ended up, after I don't know how much time, but you ended up working at Lane Crawford, a department.
Yeah.
Sorry for the noise. A department store in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And you met a colleague there, and you told me that story. I think I would like the listeners to listen to this story of how you one night you decided that you were going to start an entrepreneurial project with your colleague. So how does this happen?
So yes, when I arrived in Hong Kong, I had to find a job super, super fast, as I said. So I managed to had like 3-4 interviews a day. I was like connecting with as many people that I could, and I got the job in 2 weeks back then.
Wow.
And then I could move out of the tiny shoebox / hotel
To a bigger shoebox.
to a bigger shoebox,
Yeah.
to a decent sized shoebox for one person. And yeah, I had this colleague of mine. We were traveling a lot. We were both buyers. So we're traveling a lot to Europe, to the US, and yeah, doing very long hours. And once in New York, we discovered the shot grass, the grass shot, sorry, the hyper shot of grass.
Okay.
Yeah, grass juice.
Okay. Is it
And
really tasty?
oh, it's so tasty, but not good. Tasty.
Okay. Not good. Okay.
It's very flavory, but it tastes like grass, basically. Yeah. So you're like, you know, pinching your nose and just like sip it.
But
super
you thought it
fast.
was a good idea anyway.
No, because of the benefits we felt.
okay.
Like we felt so energized, and we didn't like, of course we were so jet lagged, but we didn't even have time sometimes to go back on the time zone. So we were like discovering those shots of ginger and wheatgrass and this and that. And and feeling so energized. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Cold
Okay.
pressed juices. So yeah, when we
That
came
was the
back,
trigger.
yeah, that was a trigger. So
Okay.
then we came back to our very busy life in Hong Kong, and we were like, oh, we wish we had like those wheatgrass shot and those like cold pressed juices we had discovered back in New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah.
And there was some juice companies already in Hong Kong, but nothing like, yeah, purely fresh and 100% cold press. So
So you decided to do that with your
yeah,
colleague
yeah,
at 5 a.m. in the morning.
yeah, pretty much. We were sleeping. We were having like very, very long nights at work. Sometimes past 2 a.m. Sometimes we was even sleep at the office. That was back then, and now I'm sure they don't do that anymore. Hope.
I hope for them.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's when we said, you know what, let's do that. Let's just do our own juices. So we started ordering the machine, came from
Wow.
Germany.
So you had to
and
invest
Norwalk.
some money.
Yeah. 5,000 US at the time.
Okay.
And we started from her kitchen. Yeah,
Wow.
we're just squeezing apples, carrots, whatever, spinach. And then I asked my aunt. She was a naturopath. She's a naturopath and nutritionist, and she came up with recipes, and that's how we started.
So if we jump a little bit in time,
Yeah.
you were working on this, and then later on your business partner, so your colleague, was not as involved as you, because for her it was just,
Hobby.
side thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
hobby. For you it was really something. And I guess you had maybe your entrepreneur's mindset kicking in at that time, probably.
Yeah.
So then you ended up working on that for a few years, right?
Yeah.
And then
And then I was about to give up when
it's always like that.
yeah, exactly. I was kind of giving up, and then a friend of mine told me, "What are you doing with this green juice company?" I said, "Oh, it's too hard." I realized the more juices I sell, the more money I spend. So my business model is not exactly right. And he was laughing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I guess you need like some structure." I was like, "Yeah, that might be the thing that I
Definitely need some
Yeah.
structure.
Some structure, some financial backing, maybe to sustain to sustain the growth, and yeah, I realized innovation is not enough. If yeah, sometimes you just have a great idea, but execution and structure, and maybe not the right people around. So the business model was just not working. And so he said, okay, you know what? Why don't you join my group? I'm investing into lifestyle. I want to, have a restaurant, have a juice company, So yeah, I was like, yes, please. Later on, we needed to raise money to buy bigger machines, and that's when I came across my next
Okay.
challenge.
But I like when you mentioned the idea and the execution. I heard that a lot. People say, "Oh yeah, I had this idea." And you're like, maybe you had the idea, and I think it's not the most innovative part. I mean, having ideas is, well, depends on the people, but it's not that hard. It's not the hardest part. It's like you're just connecting the dots. Usually it's that. You go on a trip to New York, or you meet someone, and then connecting the dot, and you have the idea, but then executing the idea, that's where the challenge is. So all these people who are not entrepreneurs, usually they're not, and they're like, yeah, well, it's not groundbreaking idea. Yes, but many companies that are growing are super big companies. They're not, not groundbreaking ideas. It's just that they do it in a way that it fits the market and the demand and everything.
Definitely. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think back then I was too much focused on having like the perfect product, the perfect recipe, but eventually there is also reality, importing organic, fresh fruits and vegetables every day to Hong Kong.
Expensive.
Like it's so expensive, and the market was not ready to pay back then 12 US for a juice, even though every juice was like
super active,
and you imagine
ingredients.
almost like 1 kg of fruits and vegetables per juice. that's what it took. But
People
yeah.
were, but was there like people were demanding for this? Except the price, I mean.
So funny enough, the first day we launched the website, we got orders, and I was really shocked. I was like, "Wow, how did you find us?" And the guy was like, "Well, I was just looking for cold pressed juices in Hong Kong."
Okay,
So there was a demand, there was a market, especially in Hong Kong. People are a lot about their health and what they need to drink. Like it's part of their culture, really.
Yeah.
What they drink, what they eat. You know how to prevent any disease. You know, it's more like the Eastern culture of like how to prevent rather than treating the disease like we do in the Western world. So that was very helpful. I was quite pleasantly surprised. Again, when we launched this business, we didn't do like a market analysis or anything that we should have done.
But in hindsight,
yeah.
What did you learn from this experience?
So yeah, I learned that innovation is good, having a great idea is good, but all the rest is just as important, if not more important. The financial backing, the structure, how to build a brand, how to do all the logistics around, how to be always ahead of your P&L. Like, don't, wait for the end of the year or what I was supposed to do this year again. Oh, no, okay. Planning, forecasting. Like, I know it sounds like boring words, but market analysis, competitive analysis. What is the competition doing? What is the price point? How much people are willing, just go down on the street, interview like 50 people. It's super easy. Ask them how much they would pay for a juice. And here you go, maybe your idea is not sustainable.
Yeah, in the last, in a previous recording, I was talking to the founder of Rue Madame Fashion Group, and she told me that customers and numbers, like finance, are the two things that she really prioritizes, and it really helps her thrive in her business. So because sometimes you're just focused on your product, but you're not going to buy your own products. I mean, it's meant to be sold to some people. Yeah.
If there is no demand, you can have the
best product.
But to sell to whom?
Yeah. Okay, I have some quick questions for you. It's super easy. Okay. So the one indispensable skincare product.
Serum.
Okay. What kind?
I would say 3 products. Sorry, I changed my answer. Can I give 3?
Yes.
You say 2, or 1. No, you said 2. You said 1. Okay. Maybe I can give 2.
Okay. Give 2.
Okay. So the washing, because it's super important to wash your face with a pH neutral, which means the pH of your skin, which means closer to 5. That's number 1. That's ultra important. Okay, that would be actually my only answer if it was just one product. But then, of course, it's good if you can add a super active that is going to help your cell regenerate faster or slow aging, such as vitamin C, for instance, which is a very good antioxidant. Or we have in mono skincare product, they're even better antioxidant, which is astaxanthin, which is, another antioxidant. Or you can think retinol or derivative of retinol or hyaluronic acid, like any active of this type that are
talk about retinol,
concentrated and really good for skin regeneration and hydration from within.
Wash your face, your skin, and use serum. Okay. Your favorite place in the world?
I think...
can be anything, anywhere, even your home
in the world
or country. Or
I have so many favorite places. I guess I would say Ibiza, not for the party, but really for the vibe.
You have 2 Ibiza, I would say.
Exactly.
Party and
for the food, for the tranquilidad.
You speak Spanish?
A bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
The worst thing to do in your skincare routine?
Use too aggressive products on your face every day times 15 years. That can be really harmful for your skin pH and skin in general.
A misconception about skincare?
Okay, so people think skincare is just about what you put on your skin, but it's actually a much more holistic kind of way, because skin is the biggest organ of our body, so we have to treat it like we treat our body, meaning sleep, rest, eat well, exercise. So
Exercise is
yeah,
it
like
has effect on.
massage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And last question, food that is good for the skin. What? See?
Yeah, good. So any food that is very rich in antioxidants, so all the berries, all the red food in general, can be also peppers. So I like to say to my kids, eat as many colors as you can, because you can get like chlorophyll, which is also really good for the skin, from green, broccolis, antioxidant from red, yellow. I'm not sure yellow food does exist, but no. But yeah, mostly berries that are really good. But then all the herbs are also really good. We don't really think about them too much, but yeah.
Okay. So eat as many colors
Yeah.
as your kids.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Green, red.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Then back to our questions. When COVID hit in 2020, so in between, like between green juice and mono skincare, you were working as interior designer / architect.
Yeah, / CEO of hotels. Yeah.
So
Group.
just very quickly, because there's a story as well of how you started this.
Yeah.
And I'm super intrigued every time to understand, like, you did so many different things, but what's the common thread, between everything you did?
It's always, I mean, for the past 12, 13 years, it has been wellness. I have discovered yoga and I realized how amazing I felt after an hour of being present. And then I wanted to dig into that and understand where does that come from? How I felt like, sometimes after a very intense hot yoga for an hour, I felt so at peace that I could so to myself, I can die right now. Like, I feel like so at peace with myself and so serene. So I was really interested in understanding where does this feeling comes from. And so that's why I think I started to do the green juices, and then I moved on to wellness retreats that I created for an investor whom I had met while I was raising funds for the green juice
Mr.
company.
Green Juice.
Hong Kong is a world of opportunities. Every door you open, there might be an opportunity.
A way to another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that too. If you seize opportunities, you can end up in a very different place, but that is very suitable to you as well. And then eventually go back to where you thought you would go. It's never point A to point B. It's usually you have a lot of things in between.
Yeah.
And you learn from that.
Yeah.
And then you're ready for point B. You know what I mean? So
but the red line for me was wellness, because so again, like in the Revivo world, I had to build wellness retreat. So I learned so much from all therapists I could meet, acupuncture, nutritionist, very different alternative kind of medicine therapists.
Especially with
very special experience.
Chinese medicine here, there's a lot of options. Yeah. Okay, so after all of this, when COVID hit in 2020, it hit us all, and you reflected on what you wanted to do. I guess also the yoga retreats with COVID was kind of difficult.
So I love this job. It was amazing, but COVID. Like you
and
said.
This is when you started thinking about mono skincare, and this is when you kind of founded mono skincare. You ask yourself a lot of questions, whether you were ready to embark on this new adventure, because it's what I asked you when I first met you was like, cosmetics, really? Like, it's such a competitive market. Like, it's crazy. Even I'm lost, so I don't even imagine for men, but even as women, you're like, I don't know what I should, try, because you have the trends, the brands from influencers or celebrities, and usually it's just their name on it, and you don't really know if it's really good. You have all the brand like washing, marketing, You have the brands we've all known for a lot of time.
Heritage brand.
You also have the startup. So it's really difficult to know and to trust and to know who to trust, because they would all say, yeah, we're clean, we use natural ingredients, but as
Our
you told me, when you
actives are
look
more
at,
active than others.
yeah, but you, as you know a lot about this, you told me that looking at the ingredients, you can see just this, you can see, you know, what's behind it. So why did you do it anyway?
And for the records, my mom has always had perfume shops, so I'm also very well aware of the
Okay.
competition.
Okay.
But that being said, while I was drafting and like doing those wellness retreats, we needed to find a spa partner which values would align with ours, meaning 100% clean, as natural as possible, and being premium, because we were targeting 5-star. It was a 5-star hotel. We were targeting 5-star service and people. And I realized there was a gap still in the market. I know it sounds crazy because the market is saturated with skincare brands, but back then in 2017, there was no brand yet that was 100% natural, clinically proven, and highly desirable. So you had either
Because
or.
this is also something desirable.
Desirability.
You don't want to have a brand that looks like hospital.
Yeah.
You know.
You can have, you talk about branding, brand washing, marketing, but unfortunately, it's the number one reason why people buy a product.
Yeah.
It's spontaneous buy, you know, it's like,
Emotional.
oh, I love the beautiful girl. She's like, you know, have a beautiful skin, you know, your brain works like
Photoshop
that.
skin.
Yeah. She has an AI skin. Wow, I want the same, you know. But yeah, unfortunately, people are really, really like spending the buying behavior is a lot influenced by the branding aesthetics and the artistic like direction. And sometimes just the packaging, you know, not even like you look at the inky list at the back. They don't go so far, unfortunately. I mean, we don't go like the people, because that's how we've been taught. So even though, I knew the market was super saturated, I was still feeling deep down, this needs to be done, because when I compare all the formula that my mom was selling back in the 80s, back in the 90s, to the formula that are presented to me now for my hotel, or like even when I go to a drugstore or to a perfume shop, it's either, again, like 100% natural that I need to buy and make myself at home most of the time, or something that are full of petrochemicals. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. If I could make it, if I could remove the water from the cosmetics, anybody can, like especially the big brands, but somehow they don't really want to rethink the whole skincare world from within. So I don't know.
Had a really, I don't like this word, but it's really useful now, disruptive idea.
I like to say radical.
Radical, yes,
It's the same.
Because as a reminder for you listeners, it's water-soluble tablets. So it's solid. It's not like what we're used to. So also I guess there's a lot of educating around this as well.
Definitely. So I knew that skincare was made of 80% of water, but most of the people also don't realize, especially because you have such a creamy texture that you don't think, oh, it's 80% of that is water. So that was the first hint that I said to myself, why do we ship water worldwide? It's 4 trucks out of 5 on the roads that are just transporting water. And the carbon footprint attached just to this shipping of water is huge, because you have to understand it's 130 billions of bottles every year that we ship around the world. That's one thing. Then water, to make 50 ml of water, you actually need much more than just 50 ml of water. So the water kind of thing was really annoying me, because I knew that we could do so much better. I knew that we could just, I had imagined yeah, what if we just keep our bottle and we fill it with drinking water at home that we all have, and we drop the tablet and then we let it dissolve, and then it becomes rehydrates into the fully texturized
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah.
So of course it was easy to think than to achieve, but one day I was like, you know what? I think I threw another. Oh no, yeah, I moved houses, and then I moved with my hundreds of bottles that I got for free because my mom had these perfume shops. And then I opened the cupboard, and my husband is like, "Are you kidding me? I can't even put my toothbrush in here." I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." Then I was like, you know what? I don't even use so much product. Why am I like carrying this from house
Yeah.
A to house B for 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
Probably half of this is already
Yeah.
expired.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing about keeping the ingredients dry until it's dissolved is that you keep the actives. You know,
Yeah.
while if you
Yeah.
the moment is like mixed with
You can
water.
store it better.
Yeah.
Okay.
The moment it's mixed with water, the active becomes to expire. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
why there is an expiration date on the cosmetics.
But there's very quickly, but there was one thing you told me last time is that we used to this creamy texture, and one thing I remember, and you know what I'm going to say, is that you told me you want to hydrate your body, what do you do? Do you drink olive oil or do you drink water? Of course you drink water, so why don't we think it's not the same thing for the skin?
So there is a huge misconception about moisturizing. I did Latin at school, but I think everybody will understand that even if you didn't learn Latin. But in moisturizing, you have moisture, you have moist. Moist means humidity. Again, when you say hydration, you have hydra. Hydra, water. You know, this is Greek. But anyway, why do we think hydration comes from greasy cream? It's because of 50, 70 years of marketing, basically.
Wow. That was a life-changing moment when you told me that.
Trust me, if it was more expensive to sell water than oil, that would be the contrary, you know? But it's very, very cheap to create texture nowadays. You can have something it's called carbomer, or let's say carbomer, that can absorb up to 500 times its mass. So basically with very little of carbomer, that is 100% derived from petrol. It's a petrochemical derived molecule, and it can absorb up to 500 times its mass. So it's amazing to create texture. It's amazing to retain water. So it's the same thing we use in our diapers, you know, diapers for babies. Okay. When you put the diaper into a swimming pool,
you know,
inflates.
Same as the tampons and all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a microbit. It's made of plastic. It's saying it's a microplastic. And if you burst it, so if you do this experience, you take a diaper of a kid, you put it with water in a basin of water, leave it for 1 hour, then you take it off, and you burst the small small ball in your hand, and you feel like an amazing texture, you know. So you put that on your face, and you feel like, wow, the hydration is amazing. But you don't cure the problem at the root of the cell. The fact that your skin is dehydrated is because your cell is letting the water evaporating too much. So you need to solve this problem first. Then once you have cured that, yes, of course, on top you can put an oil, you can put to create a barrier to help, again, the water to stay within. But the important is to solve
And so when you were more clear on what you wanted to have, also you have, and it's the good thing, high standards. So you want vegan, clean, healthy, highly effective products, because it's not just clean, it's also effective. Because there are some brands, it's like, oh, clean, but actually it doesn't really do anything. So it took a lot of time and effort, that's the least we can say, for you to find a lab that was willing to work with you as a new brand. it took 2 years to create the formula and a lot of money.
Yeah.
The last check you signed was like the last chance.
Yeah.
So how did you know at the time I should still try, or maybe it's time for me to stop this?
Well, so yeah, I guess finding the right partners is super difficult because I was looking for something that did not exist yet, you know. So if you know, okay, I'm looking for a glass, you go on the search website, you look for glass. But when you look for something that does not exist, you need to find some partners that align with you, that are curious, that are talented, and that would just enjoy the journey, because you don't know if it's going to work or not. So it took me 4 months. I reached out to more than 200 labs. That was really intense. I almost gave up already at that phase, you know, before I even started. Because again, like when you talk about people around you, they say, oh, maybe you should just give up, you know, maybe it's not doable.
Yeah.
And then once I found the right partners, again, the first formulas, we had the tablet, it dissolved into water very quickly. It was super effective, 100% natural, clean, pH of 5, but no texture. The end product is very watery. And it's been 2 years of R&D. I was really looking forward to launching. So I'm like, you know what, it's fine, let's just launch. You know, the market will adapt. Eventually, after 6 months, I realized the market is not going to adapt so far. Yes, it can adapt to maybe adding the tablet, adding water, but that's it. Then you need to give the market texture, because that's all the market knows, you know? And I'm like, but look, it's clinically proven, the hydration is there. Like, no, you know, it's too far. You're asking too much. You're asking the customer behavior to change too much from A to C. You know, it's too much. So back to the lab, and they told me, Laurie, we tried everything, we can't, you know, it's like impossible what you're asking. And that's when I told them, actually, I reached out to more than 200 people before I found you. They were like, okay, we don't know. So I was like, I'm not going to take no for an answer. We're going to find a way to add texture, still without industrial stirring, still being 100% natural, still no adding water, you know, hot water. I didn't want customer to have to add boiling water. It was too complicated. So I keep on going. And again, some days I was like, should I just give up? But somehow I felt like I hadn't explored all the possibilities. And I felt like, oh, that would be so frustrating. What if, you know? I kept on pushing this amazing doctor in pharmacy and his partner, who is a biochemist. And eventually one day they said, ta-da, found it, you know? I don't know, at some point.
That's a real, I would say, masterclass of entrepreneur's journey, right?
Yeah.
And it has all the elements, like you want to give up, but you don't want to be frustrated. So you want to try everything. Everybody said no to you. It's really the thing that makes the story of so many successful entrepreneurs. And your story really stuck in my mind, you know? I was like, I was eager to record this morning because it's really fascinating, all the steps you went through. You're so driven and you know what you want to achieve. And I think if you don't have that...
I mean, you know, I think especially in skincare, if you don't disrupt, if you don't come up with something extraordinary that is really going to solve a problem, that is really purposeful, then don't go into this industry. Like I would not say that for maybe something more creative, but skincare is, I don't know, you have to come up with something that adds so much added value. It has to be like 100 times better than what already exists, because what already exists sometimes has been here for 100 years. You know, how do you want to find like a piece of cake? How do you want to get a tiniest piece of cake into this world?
Crumbs.
Or you have 10 million? No. Maybe sometimes people spend 10 million, 15 million, they don't go anywhere. you know, so, and I didn't have, by the way, 10 million for that. And also, I'm not like you said, a celebrity, or that's
Yeah.
also another thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get a crack at those cake because you are like Hailey Bieber,
Yeah.
or I don't know, like a very famous, or Kardashian, or it's
Yeah.
not my case neither. So yeah, it
Yeah.
had to
So
be,
you had to have a.
it had to be very special, and I didn't want to compromise on anything. I didn't want to cut any corner, because I felt like that's not my idea, and I think if I want to have a long-term, like, sustainable brand, I had to stick to
Yeah.
my ideas. Yeah.
But now that you've gone through all of this, I guess you're ready for anything else. It gave you,
Oh, yeah.
ammunition for
Yeah.
future
Yeah,
challenges.
definitely.
Now you're available online in France, in Europe, in Hong Kong as well. You signed a partnership with Printemps in Paris.
Yes.
Big achievement.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's it. That's a pretty big milestone. And I imagine that when you started, if someone would have told you, oh, you'll sign a partnership with Printemps, you would have been, oh, wow, okay, really? So now what's your philosophy when it's come to running your business? Are you, and facing challenges because you went through all of this. So now how do you approach things?
So you have to stay very agile. Like, of course, being very clear on your vision and stick to your ideas and values, but be adaptable. You have to be flexible, agile. Like, I realized after 6 months, okay, the market wants texture. Stop everything, go back to R&D. Like, there is no point in continuing spending money in SEO, SEM, paid ads, sending samples to all the stores that are all eventually going to say yes, but actually we need texture. So, and also, so being agile, and also very close to the market. But the market is not just end consumers, it's also for us retailers. So you talk about Printemps. That's good. We got a lot of feedback from Printemps, but also now we are in pharmacies. So we also pivot a bit. We realize pharmacists really appreciate our minimalist, highly concentrated tech formulas. And they are very popular in France. But again, what works in the market maybe is not the same in Hong Kong. So in France, especially post-COVID, people are buying from pharmacies, even their skincare a lot. And so you have this massive trend, and pharmacists, which normally were not buying so much skincare, they end up nowadays buying like so much skincare. And we just started in a parapharmacy in France that is the biggest of Paris. It's called Forum des Halles. It's more than 2,000 square meters. And they have eventually 1,900 square meters of parapharmacy, so it's huge, the parapharmacy in France nowadays. So we try to work with very selective retailers, perfume store, but also pharmacists. But also we worked with some wellness kind of curated concept store. They might have like a Pilates class, and then you can have a coffee, and then, they have a little shop.
A holistic wellness experience.
That for us, again, people understand really our brand, and we are looking for the repeat kind of buy, because it's not easy to get into one shop because there is so much offer, as you said. But it's very important that we work as partners with those retailers, and that we look for repeat orders, long terms, how we can make better, so being close to the customers and close to the retailers, and always supporting them the best we can. And sorry, just for the strategy and investing a lot into R&D, because that's paying off.
That's the core of
our business model.
And what's your next big thing? What's the next big thing on your list?
The sun defense. So it's another revolutionary product. We just shot yesterday. We're a bit late, but it's going to be amazing pictures and videos. And again, 2 more years of R&D. Wow. So that's 4 years of R&D coming up with a sun care product that is protecting your skin from sunburn, so you don't get red. There is no skin inflammation, and it's 100% natural. Still, it's always the same format. The dry tablets that you can keep for very long active until it's dissolved into the water inside the aluminum bottle this time, not glass, because glass was too heavy for the beach. For all skin types, for all ages, babies, kids and adults, and also anti-erythema, so no for people that have like sun allergy. And designed for hypersensitive skins, like blah blah blah, all the pH of 5. So very difficult because, again, ultra disruptive, because nowadays everybody speak about SPF for sun protection, but we don't use this system because the only mineral that has been tested SPF is zinc or derivative product from zinc. But zinc is very harmful for the ocean and marine life. And so we wanted to be close to our eco-responsibility value, of course, and we didn't want to do any harm to the marine life. So we had to go with 100% natural products that are protecting from the sunburn, but that are not zinc. And so, that's how...
What do you use?
Okay,
Seaweed?
so we have seaweed, but that's not really helping against the sunburn. It's more like ectoine, which is a bacteria that live in very extreme conditions, and that is kind of absorbing the sun and transforming it into, so it's an anti-inflammatory basically, transforming it into energy instead of reflecting the sun. We have schizophyllon, which is a mushroom. That is a very strong antioxidant, and we have another complex patented of beta-glucan and a derivative of hyaluronic acid and mannose and glucose, and this is more for the hydration part. So those three kind of hero ingredients work together because we had ectoine for a long time, but it didn't work on its own. You needed to apply the product before you go to the beach. Like, we always had like challenges. And I was like, oh no, we cannot ask people. Like, I understand there are products that already exist like that when people are super white and you need to prepare your skin before you go. But I thought it's too compromising, I don't want like, it's another like kind of stone in the shoe. Like, so I wanted to get like the easiest to apply product. So it's 2 more years. It's been 4 years and we are working on that. So we are super excited.
Yeah, I imagine.
We are launching next month.
Next month, okay. Yeah. It'll be available on your eShop.
Yes, so we just showed it at the Pharmagora trade show last week, and the answer was amazing. So we just had like samples, but people wanted to buy it straight away. So we took 35 orders already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm super excited. Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward to trying this. And the last question is the signature question of my podcast that I asked to all the business owners. Is there a lesson that you learned throughout your experience and that you would like to share with fellow business owners or future business owners?
Yes, many, but I would say...
We have 1 hour.
Okay, I would say, first of all, stick with your ideas, like your gut feeling, your vision, what you had envisioned at the beginning. It's very important that you stick to it, but be adaptable at the same time. Like I said, sometimes you had an idea, but maybe it's not doable, but the market is not ready. So you have to be adaptable. And the second thing I would say is surround yourself with great people that not only understand your vision, but also can bring value to your business and to your ideas.
Okay.
That's also something I would definitely recommend.
Well, thank you so much, Laurie. It was a very interesting chat. I hope the listeners will think the same thing.
I hope so, yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you, Carmen.
explaining us so much about skincare. And I might release a short video of me mixing the products. So
definitely.
you guys can see what it looks like.
And the result,
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.